I'm Angelina Eng, Vice President of the Measurement Addressability Data Center at IAB US. At IAB, we collaborate closely with IAB Tech Lab and our global IAB partners to develop standards and frameworks that help the industry evolve and thrive. Across the markets from US to Australia and globally, the message is pretty consistent. Our current measurement systems are no longer fit for purpose. Data is fragmented across siloed platforms and walled gardens, as we heard in the earlier session. Definitions vary widely across channels, formats, and devices. And without quality data, standardization, or interoperability, connecting exposures to outcome becomes nearly impossible. But there is a way forward, and much of what I'm sharing today reflects insights from the Measurement Leadership Summit in July, as well as ongoing feedback from our IAB members throughout the year. Now, for years, IAB and IAB Tech Lab have laid the groundwork. We've made meaningful progress, but we recognize that the journey is still far from over. And that fragmentation, it's not just the challenge, it is the foundation we must fix to build what comes next. So let's take a closer look at where we are today. As you can see, this one consumer, she is exposed to a lot of different ads in different environments. Today the way we measure varies widely across platforms and formats. A social post, a CTV video start, or a podcast download, I think you all can agree, each are counted differently. And now if you layer in the tech stack like ad servers, DSPs, verification tools, analytics platforms, each with their own logic, definitions, and outputs. And as we all are aware, more data doesn't always mean more clarity. But here's the good news: alignment is emerging. IAB and IAB Tech Lab and all our global counterparts have been working to bring consistency and transparency to this chaos. We've developed measurement standards for display, audio, video, gaming, retail media, and most recently, attention metrics. Tools like the Ad Creative ID framework, also known as ASIF, and standardized audience and content taxonomies are also helping to reduce that fragmentation. Progress is real and momentum is building. But this brings us to the next critical point. I believe that it's time to stop relying on one-off fixes and custom workarounds. Instead, we as an industry globally need to commit to continuing to develop industry-wide standards as well as push adoption and scale. And that is why IAB is doubling down on its commitment to bring greater order and improve data quality to the entire industry. So what's holding us back? Most measurement fails at the input level. Teams spend hours fixing errors, reclassifying campaigns, stitching together mismatched data just to produce a report. We've patched systems for too long now. Customization works in silos, and without consistency, it limits scale. The good news, we're seeing companies adopt shared standards, saving time and unlocking insights. Structured data is the foundation when it's placed. Analysts can now shift from cleanup to strategy. At IAB, we're focused on harmonizing data, creating and pushing for adoption of shared classifications, taxonomies, and definitions across platforms, channels, ad formats, attributions of placements, creatives, and audiences. This alignment is critical to making data interoperable, comparable, and actionable. We build the foundation right, and then everything gets stronger. And once that foundation's solid, we can begin connecting activity to real business outcomes. Once that foundation is in place, the next step's clear. We need clarity to move forward toward better measurement. KPIs, engagement, and outcomes are not the same and shouldn't be treated as such. To improve measurement, we must weight those different types of data points, and treat each of them differently when it comes to campaign optimization. We need to enable marketers to define what each means for their brands, provide the necessary signals to their partners so they can optimize accordingly. And that's how we begin to understand what truly drives results. However, outdated models like last touch attribution still dominate, rewarding the final click while ignoring the touch points that built interest and trust. Assisted attribution and hybrid models are helping surface those contributions. And at IAB, where we will be pushing for more transparency around this so that every channel gets fair acknowledgement for the role it plays. Tools like IAB Tech Lab's Conversion API are showing promise. But outcome-driven measurement isn't just about one model or one metric. It's about looking at performance in multiple ways, sharing data across partners, and enabling better insights for optimization and insights. Outcome-driven measurement starts with transparency and with recognizing the full journey and not just the final step. And once we connect those outcomes, the next challenge is pretty clear: privacy. Consumers expect it, regulators demand it, platforms are limiting identifiers, and signals we once relied on are disappearing, making cross-device, cross-platform, cross-channel measurement even harder. But privacy isn't just a hurdle. We are now seeing it as a catalyst for innovation. Clean rooms, server-to-server integrations, privacy-enhancing technologies are enabling safer collaboration. Tools like IAB Tech Labs PETS, Conversion API, and Trusted Server are creating privacy-conscious paths to measurement, allowing data to be processed securely without exposing personal or proprietary information. Privacy is forcing us to rethink old habits, pushing us towards consent-based, anonymized, and scalable methods, and reshaping how we move forward. So what's my recommendation? Make privacy the foundation of your measurement strategy. Use first-party consented data as your anchor. Augment with responsible second-party partnerships and ethical third-party enrichment. Validate those inputs as well as outputs and demand transparency. Privacy doesn't mean less measurement, it means smarter, more innovative measurement. And with privacy regulations reshaping the rules, the next challenge is clear. Our models need to evolve. We heard that from the previous session. And once inputs are structured and outcomes clarified, we need models that reflect today's complexity. Last touch oversimplifies. MMM was built for TV first world. Incrementality proves causality but not scale. Deterministic is limited. Probabilistic is fuzzy. No single model tells the full story. But we're seeing innovation. Startups are building privacy-first MMM platforms. Attribution tools are layering assisted and multi-touch attribution. Clean rooms are enabling more secured collaboration. And AI is helping normalize data, plan scenarios, and predict outcomes. But AI also brings new challenges. Transparency around signals are used, how bias is managed, and how synthetic data is applied. These aren't reasons to avoid AI, though. They're reminders that structure and transparency matter more than ever. We need models that pull in external signals, research panels, offline sales, consumer insights, geographic, cultural, and economic trends, all to reflect the real-world context in which decisions are made. We need models that balance deterministic and probabilistic inputs, ensure transparency around synthetic data and bias, incorporating those external data to deliver more granularity and in near real-time speed. At IAB, we're publishing guides and best practices on incrementality, cross-channel measurement, and AI. The next hot leap will come from hybrid models that combine attribution, incrementality, and MMM and go beyond campaign data. Because the future of measurement isn't just cross-channel, it's cross everything. Which brings us to the final point. None of this works in silos and it has to be built together. All of these challenges, fragmentation, broken foundation, privacy shifts, and outdated models are connected. And because they're connected, the solutions must be too. Starting in 2026, IAB will focus on 4 main key areas. 1, improving data quality. 2, driving to outcomes. Third is around modernizing MMM. and the fourth is around evolving attribution and incrementality. But this isn't just IAB's job. It's an industry-wide effort. We've made some progress. We've got standards, taxonomies, APIs, privacy safe technologies, signals through the supply chain, but we're not done. We need to continuously identify the gaps, understand the challenges, and build systems that work together and not just patch what's broken. And let's be honest, we all know this. No single platform or tool will fix it for us, right? Collaboration is the only way forward. So we need marketers, agencies, publishers, platforms, and regulators because no one can solve this alone. New channels, formats, devices, and metrics will keep emerging. If we align, adopt standards, build new ones together, and share responsibility, measurement can finally evolve to match the complexity of today's ecosystem. And as we do this, we must stay responsible with how we use data, how we respect privacy, and how we design systems that are scalable, ethical, and future ready. This isn't a data challenge, it's a strategic one that spans technology, operations, and policy. And the light at the end of the tunnel isn't a quick fix, it's a shared progress that we will build together. Thank you for listening to me, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, I've got one or two, but if someone in the audience wants to throw one out Angie's way as well, we'll do that. I'm I'm going to change the questions I had for you, and I know you'll be okay with that because I think you answered some of the things that we were thinking about. Getting that balance of having standardization but still allowing innovation. Do you believe identifying the building blocks, the principle-based areas that you're looking at, the 4 areas going into next year, will still allow for innovation to occur on top of that?
Absolutely, but I think that the biggest challenge we have is that everyone is not talking to each other and are on different pages when they're talking about one thing or another. I think a really great example is oftentimes we talk about, well, is social video part of a social strategy or is it a video campaign? Well, why do we even have to label it that way, right? But let's talk about how do we build an infrastructure that enables the insights so that if we do have a video campaign and social is in it, we identify it there. If we're running a social campaign and it's just one single format that's running throughout that campaign, how do we identify that? And if it's part of a whole omni-channel program, just imagining right now trying to find those placements and identifying that. We need ways where not only are we creating these taxonomies, but having platforms enable that level of classification so that it's normalized, right? So let's get, a lot of companies talk about AI is going to fix this, AI will solve for this. But I truly believe that if we can create a foundation in which there is improved data quality, it enables AI to make better assessments and less time for data scientists to, create a query or a specific rule of how to reclassify content or audiences or placements.
That's perfect. And it's where the IB's always played, right? Let us do the hard infrastructure work, and then everyone can have fun on top of that.
We just need adoption.
Yeah.
Push for adoption.
All right, we're on it. Cross-media measurement was definitely the phrase for the last 5 years. I know there's been big projects in the UK and the US with the WFA. Where are we at with Aquila? Are you taking part in that? How does that fit into the whole ecosystem?
So yeah, IAB Tech Lab has been working very closely with the WFA and the ANA around Aquila. I will say that I do think that in the previous panel we were talking about best practices and consistency. That part of the issue and some of the areas that I'm focused on is how do we ensure that both large organizations, small long tail companies, and medium-sized businesses have the same equal opportunity to gain these insights. And I think that Aquila is a great solution for large advertisers, but it does require a bit of effort
heavy
when
lifting.
it comes to and collaboration across publishers and so forth. If we can build out solutions, especially around best practices on how to activate campaigns properly and gain insights, that I think would go a long way. As a really good example, a lot of companies do not ad serve audio. Buyers do not ad serve audio. I'm not quite sure why they can't, because most of the ad servers around the world support it. Their primary ad service supports it. There are best practices around serving audio ads in their ad server where they can get completion rates, and all the other data sets that they typically get with a display campaign. And I think that there is a operational piece to this that needs to be consistent across the organization, across the industry.
Yep, perfect. We've got time for one question from the audience before Angelina's had a full day connected commerce event with the IAB, so she's probably
There is one quick one, Angelina, because we've had this annual event now every year. It'll be 10 years next year, MeasureUp. Are you going to come to sunny Sydney? Will we see you in person?
I would love that.
There we go. That's sorted then.
I have always wanted to come to Australia,
Yep.
so...
Yeah, we'll sort it out with Dave Cohen. No problem. Done. Just don't tell Angelina it's raining today.
Yeah.
Do we have a question
From the
floor?
audience? No, all good. All right, thank you so much for your time. You can de-make up, put your slippers on, and relax for the rest of the evening. Thank you for joining us.
See you next year.
Thank you for having me.